didn't think you'd escape that easy, did you? We're going back to Crow Hall to the finish. I'm moving time backwards into Craftoba so we can finish this final craft. No escape for you, Crafter.
Let's roll, crafters. All right, I'm doing the base for my altar, and this is just a thin sheet of cardboard. You can see how I did the altar in my altar video. And I'm going to cut it out, and I'm going to hide the corrugation with my favorite hot glue gun, my CC Better. You can find that in the description below. And I'm going to add some texture here, and then glue the altar to it. And that kind of plasticizes the base actually when you add the hot glue. Now I'll just go around and bring that and attach it, make sure it's nice and securely attached. So very awesome. Start of my altar. All right, now I got these rings I got at the dollar store, and they're just skull rings. I'm going to pop those on the side there as a decoration. Just add my hot glue, push it on, hold it for a few, and we are good to go. I got these skull beads and I glued them on with my E6000, and you'll see why here in a sec. Okay, now I'm going to start on another part of the project, and I'm going to use a washer, and this is an inch washer. And I'm going to start adding these beads. Actually, I think it's an inch quarter washer. But I'm going to start adding these beads, and I'm going to kind of blend them into the base, and I'm going to use these barbecue skewers as my posts, right? I'm going to have some flags, and I'll kind of glue those in and cover up those beads. They're just there to help hold up the sticks, right? If I just glued them to the base, they would be very fragile, but now with the sticking in the beads, they're strong. I'm going to use my skull beads again. My friendly hot glue, put it on there. Fill in the hole. Base it how I want. And do a little bit of texture on the stick. So here you can see I did a little bit of texture on the sticks with the hot glue. I just dragged it up and down the stick, and it gives it kind of a rough texture, so very nice. Now my pencil shaving technique with 50% water, 50% white glue. Mix that up to a slushy, and then start putting it on the base. Here you can see on the base I've actually added my construction sand already. So you guys have seen me do that before with white glue and just construction sand. I'll just, areas of the base, I'll just start adding this slush here. Push it down if I need to. So, nice. All right, now I want to add some chains for the poor, unfortunate victim that's going to be on this altar, right? So you can get this chain anywhere, really, even Walmart. Just going to stick that in with the E6000, cut it, get it to a certain length, and then cut it. A little bit dangling over the table, right? So there you go. That's what I'm looking for. So I can just drape these over a mini when I lay it on there. So very cool. Now I'm going to spray everything with flat black spray paint, and that'll get us going here. And here's my altar, but I want to add some gore to it, so I forgot about that, so I'm going to add a little bit with my hot glue gun here. Spread it out a bit. Really facilitated by the long, thin nozzle. And I'm going to add some earth colors to the base here. So I'm going to add a brown, and then my burnt sienna. Kind of mix it in while it's wet. And then the base I'll do a dark brown. Okay, now I'm going to do a highlight with a bit of a tan. It gives it a really nice earthy color. And it's going to be a great contrast to the gore I'm going to have on this. Okay, now I'm going to do the base with a lighter brown. So just the ground there. And now I'm going to do the gore. I'm going to use my cherry red and kind of drip it over the side there. Kind of splotches of gore on here. Very nice. And then I'm going to mix my true red in there, and that gives a nice kind of effect. Right? So I'll just want homogeneous color. Cool. All right, now I'm going to use a tan and go around and pick out those pencil shavings, and it looks like dead vegetation. I really want it to look that way because the tree is kind of draining the life from the area, right? And now I'm going to kind of paint some details on the skull, just fill in the eyes and the nose with a little bit of watered down black. So, nice. Now I'm going to use a gunmetal and paint the skulls on the edges here, as well as the chains. It really helps to just hold them out. Nice. Okay, now I'm using some burnt sienna as kind of rust on the chains, make them look older and rusty. Easy, easy. And I'm going to use some water-based gloss on the base here. I like this because it cleans up with water, and it gives a nice glossy, gory look to this gore. Okay, now I've made some flags I'm going to put on the posts. And I actually didn't line up I just did them in Photoshop. I didn't line up the pieces, so I'm going to have to modify them a bit. So, because I want the same crow symbol to be with the same one on each side. So I'll just white glue those together, and that'll be my strip. And here I've cut off the excess, and I'll just paint that with a watered down red. Okay, and I'll just put these on a plastic tray while they dry. Oops, that one came apart. And these are my flags for the scenario. Okay, they're all dried up. And I kind of glue them together. But I want to be careful. I want to leave a little, an opening at the front of the flag so it'll go on the post, right? All right, now I'm going to add some distressing here on the edge, cut that so it's not quite straight, and then I'll use my X-Acto knife to get kind of a kind of messed up, at the end, like it's been whipping around in the wind and ripped up a bit. Nice. Now I'm going to stress that a little bit with some black, dry brush a little bit of black on there. Not too much, you don't want to cover it up. Easy. So here's my posts. And I'll start by painting those with the dark brown, the burnt umber. And just do the whole thing. So, looks great. I'll let that dry up, and I'm going to use my Mississippi mud. You guys know how much I love this stuff. It's really kind of a blah brown, which really goes with this kind of depressing, life-drained scenario, right? And just get those posts nice and Mississippi mudded. And I'm going to use a gray, and that'll be kind of a highlight, and also, the weathered wood kind of thing. The old weathered wood. All right, back to my brown again. Do the base. Same brown I used for the altar. Easy. I'm going to use a tan for the vegetation, the dead vegetation that the tree has sucked the life out of. Nice. Looks great. Okay, so here's my post. I'm going to start putting the flags on. Just pop some white glue on there. And then when you put the flag over, kind of squeeze it together. And that will seal it to the post, right? So don't worry about it if you get any excess glue on the flag. No problem. It dries clear. All right, squeeze that. Make sure it's on there nice and firm. All right, now I'm going to use a watered down glue, 50% glue, 50% white glue, 50% water. Kind of paint it on the flags and saturate them in that. And then get a little excess off. And then kind of bend the flags into shape like they're whipping in the wind, right? Nice. So my idea with Crow Hollow was to have these giant gore crows that serve the tree, right? Serve the evil of the tree. So what I did to make these was I used my washers, and these are 1¼ washers. Then I used these little doves that I got. These are like party favors or wedding decorations. And I was going to doctor these up to be the crows, right? And you can pick these up at the link below. So what I did was I did a flock of crows, and then I glued them together with my goop and then filled in the holes with my glue gun. Then I glued a nail into the bottommost crow, but I also wanted to do some individual crows, so I glued nails into the bottom of those crows too. There's already a hole in the bottom, which really facilitates it. And then I just glue those on with the hot glue, and then I'll fill in the base. Unlike the individual crow, I needed a bigger base. This is 1.25 inches, and I'm going to add some detail with the hot glue gun because I want to make it look like ground, right? So I'm just going to put that on there, and then like the other one in the picture, I'll just glue that in with the hot glue, hold it, let my literal murder of crows hang in the air there. And here I'm doing one with dark brown. I'm going to use some gloss luster, put it on the crow to make it look oily and nasty. This is just gloss acrylic paint actually, so pretty cool. Black acrylic paint. I'll do a little bit lighter brown on the base, and add some gore to it. So I'll use my cherry red and bright red, true red. Like it's like the feathers are covered in gore. I'll do all the flock and the murder and all that kind of thing. Individuals like this. There we go, nice. Now let's hit the table, see what this looks like. Here comes Roderick stumbling into our scene. Not a good idea, Roderick, not a good idea. All right, let's take a look. And we have these flags fluttering in the wind. I think they're really nice. Those old kind of poles have this creepy look to them. I think that's great. It really looks fantastic. And cool stuff. All right, now here's the altar, and I really like how that came out. It really looks like a creepy place. Got the chains to attach a mini. Let me show you how that works. So I'll grab our poor mage mini, of course, because they're always the victims, right? And we'll just pop the chains over it, right? And it just simulates that they're like tied up by the chains. Really cool. I really like that. Just super easy. And I got that detail on the side with the skull ring. Looks really nice. And here, let's look at the tree now. Wow, this thing I think came out great. Even if you don't want to do a gore tree like this, you could do use this technique for many other kinds of trees too, even happy trees, right? So let's take that toothpick out so we can open the door, and I'll show you the light. So we got the tea light in here, the little red wedding tea or submersible light, and I've got all that cellophane in there from the previous video, and it kind of reflects on it up the tree. So very nice, very cool. Really, really like that. And then suddenly our flock of gore crows shows up.
Alright, kiddies, DM Lovecraft here. Let's start this adventure. Okay, first off, you'll come into this room. Stairway leading 10 feet down into this small room. Nowhere to move around. Uh-oh, there's a trap. The ceiling is loose. Let's see. I'm gonna roll for damage. Okay. Okay, yeah. Oh, okay. You take 875 damage.